want to play there when championship-wise you don't have as high a stake as Oregon does or Florida State. And Duke, same thing. Duke, unless you really just care about watching their basketball games, don't expect a national championship going to Duke. So, I don't know. I really didn't see any reports of Oregon and Ole Miss. I only saw Florida State and Duke. But if he does go to Oregon, that would be awesome for Braxton Miller. But the Buckeyes athletic director Gene Smith told Cleveland.com that he expects Miller to stay in Columbus, saying, quote, I don't see a need for him to transfer. I've never heard that from him. We'll have to see about that. We already did that one. Now, time for my little spotlight. I'm losing my words today. I had this all planned out, and then get to the show when I don't know. I'm losing my words here. But TCU. I'm going to make this quick because I know I end up ranting on and talking too much about TCU. But TCU won at Bama. That is for sure. Late in the third quarter when the lead was 42-0, TCU fans targeted number 1 seed Alabama. And they chanted, quote, we want Bama. And that's not an overreaction or some crazy, hot take or something. The Tide and the college football committee and the other teams should breathe a sign of relief, honestly. This TCU team has so much potential. I mean, this team is scary. It's dangerous, and it could just knock out everybody. Before this bowl game, I was afraid if we did somehow make the playoffs, I was afraid to play Oregon. I was thinking Oregon's offense could probably find a lot of holes in our defense and just, end up beating us. I wasn't afraid to play Bama. I was definitely not afraid to play Florida State. That's the weakest team in the playoffs. And was definitely not afraid if somehow, we played Ohio State. No way was I scared. Oregon was the team that intimidated me a little bit. But after all of this, after TCU beat Ole Miss 42-3, there's no team in college football that would have beat TCU. No team. And you're not just hearing it from me. I'm not just being biased or a homer. Go look on Twitter. Go look at all the reports on ESPN and any other college football website. You will find highly people, that are up there at the top. Say TCU would have beat any team in the country. No more coulda, woulda, shouldas, but TCU did dominate Baylor. 3.5 quarters, 58-37. Just remember that. They held them down. And, of course, you got to play for 4 quarters, but we didn't recognize that at that time. But anyways, TCU's team was a team of destiny. I feel bad for the seniors. I really do. Sam Carter, Paul Dawson, Chucky Hunter, and a couple other players as seniors. Yes, you won the Peach Bowl. Yes, you dominated. You closed out what was an incredible season that, for a lot of people, that wasn't supposed to happen. You weren't even supposed to make it there, and you did. But it's bittersweet because it's sweet because you just dominated everybody you played, and especially Ole Miss when everybody was like, oh, Ole Miss is probably going to win this game by a few points because their defense is, the number 1 scoring defense, holding teams to 13 point blank. They're going to hold down TCU's air raid offense. And then you go and, deny them and just say, hey, 42 points. So, and it's bitter because you could have been playing today against Bama or potentially against Oregon, and it would have been a different story because you would have been moving on. But either way, Chick-fil-A, Peach Bowl, gracias, thank you. And incredible season. Quick stats, though. TCU had 24 first downs to Ole Miss's 10. TCU had 423 yards of offense, while Ole Miss had 129 and 9 rushing yards total. And, Yeah, we did have four turnovers, including, Ole Miss. We did a good job forcing turnovers. We just couldn't be the same. 2 turnovers probably shouldn't even happen. We got, with that first touchdown play, we did a lot of trick plays in this game, which was crazy. We did a lot of them out of the norm. We usually just one every 5 games you do a trick play. We did about 5 different trick plays in this game, and the reverse handoff, whatever debacle that was, it screwed up, so that cost us a turnover. And then one of Trevon Boykin's throws was tipped by a wide receiver that should have been caught and landed up into one of the top cornerbacks. It just happened to be him. Add another interception to his stat list. That should have never happened, but either way, TCU still owned the time of possession, even running that fast-paced offense, which kind of seemed a little bit slower, but it was still fast, at 34 minutes and 48 seconds compared to Ole Miss's 24 minutes and 29 seconds. Bo Wallace ended his collegiate career 10 of 23, 109 yards, and 3 interceptions. That's really it. Just awesome job. And scary part about TCU for all you other college football fans, Trevon Boykin and nearly every member of his offense are coming back for 2015. The only seniors departing, left tackle Te'o Fabulage. I think I got the last name right. I don't think I said the first name right. Blocking tight end, which he was really a fullback, Cliff Murphy, and valued backup wide receiver David Porter and quarterback Matt Jokel. And that's it. Those are the only people leaving. One starter out of all of that. Everybody else was backups. Cliff Murphy started every now and then, but he was just a fullback. We don't run that many fullback plays. TCU offense will have the same firepower, the momentum that they had with the 8-game winning streak, and a full offseason to take the air raid offense again, boost it back up to the top, and just create even more plays, the chemistry down with new players, new recruits coming in, and we got some great wide receivers and running backs coming in. It's going to be exciting to see how they can do it next season. And, it's easy to see why TCU can be ranked the number 2 team in the AP poll after this is all said and done. I think the way they blew everybody out, especially blowing out Ole Miss, for sure we're number 3 when this is all said and done, but likely number 2, I think, depending on how Oregon and Alabama play. If Alabama blows out Ohio State, which I hope does happen, and if Oregon dominates Florida State and then Oregon dominates Alabama or vice versa, I think TCU jumps right to 2. If Alabama-Oregon is close game in the national championship, then I see TCU going to 3. But either way, it's exciting. I'm excited. Hope you're excited, even though you might not be a TCU fan. But hopefully, by listening to my show, you've come to appreciate and have a little bit of love for TCU. I hope you have. Actually, there's 2 bowl games going on right now. The Outback Bowl in Tampa Bay, Florida, which started at 11 o'clock. It's now about almost 12. That is on ESPN2. Number 18, Wisconsin, taking on number 19, Auburn. So go check that out. I did pick Auburn for that game. And then the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, which started about 24 minutes ago. And that's number 5, Baylor, taking on number 8, Michigan State, which I'm going for Michigan State. Let's go Spartans. Dominate them. That is on ESPN. Go ahead and flip back and forth on that. And actually, in 3 more minutes on ABC, the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl is about to happen in Orlando, Florida. That is number 16, Missouri, taking on number 25, Minnesota. And, of course, the night games tonight, the most anticipated college football games of all year, come down to tonight. That's the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual in Pasadena, California. That is 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. ESPN, number 2, Oregon, taking on number 3, Florida State. And then the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, 7:30 Central Standard Time. ESPN, number 1, Alabama, taking on number 4, Ohio State. Come on, Bama, dominate them. Because I want to make sure the college football committee knows they screwed up again, and that's why you don't drop a team from number 3 to 6 after dominating a team by 50-something points, and then playing the team you wanted to put us against Ole Miss, who was number 2 or 3 during the season. That was happening. They did beat Alabama, Ole Miss, and they did beat Mississippi State, who are both number 1 at some point during the season. That's Alabama still number 1. So just saying, dominate them 42-3. Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, awesome games. I'm going Oregon, going Alabama. Again, for these games earlier that are happening right now as we speak and are about to happen, I'm going Auburn, then Michigan State, Missouri. Actually, I'm going to switch that from Missouri to Minnesota. I hope it's not too late. Hope you guys don't mind. Minnesota has been great people to us, for us TCU fans. We'll play them next year in Minnesota. Thankfully, it's one of the earliest September games. Actually, I think it's the first game of the year. Thank God. I was hoping it wasn't in like any time past the first week of college football, because it starts, I'm sure it gets really cold. So either way, now I'm switching it to Minnesota. Then Rose Bowl game, hopefully Oregon dominates Florida State, and then Alabama rolls all over Ohio State. And then January 12th, College Football Playoff Championship in Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, Cowboys Stadium, Jerry's World, whatever you want to call it. Time is due to be determined, but I'm sure it's a night game. It is going to be on ESPN. Rose Bowl winner going against the Sugar Bowl winner. It's going to be exciting. I'm loving college football. I'm loving the playoffs right now, or the bowl games right now. All right, NFL. Let's get on with it. Oh, you guys been wanting to hear some NFL talk. The Washington Redskins coach, Jay Gruden, vowed that there would be changes after a 4-12 season, and there was yesterday when the team announced a mutual decision to part ways with defensive coordinator Jim Haslett. Under Haslett, the Redskins defense has finished a collective 29th in the NFL in total yards and 30th in points per game this season. The banged-up unit ranked 20th in total yards and 29th in points allowed. Washington did suffer key injuries with cornerback D'Angelo Hall, linebacker Brian Orakpo, nose tackle Barry Cofield, and some backups, including cornerback Tracy Porter and Jason Hatcher, who signed a big deal in free agency, but just got hurt, and didn't really produce like he was when he was with Dallas. And right now, I guarantee you, he's wishing he stayed in Dallas, because he could be part of what could be a Super Bowl team, just throwing it out there. And also earlier this month, former Redskins linebacker and big-time NFL veteran London Fletcher spoke on CBS's pregame show and called Haslett, quote, clueless. Haslett would have taken the 85 Bears and turned them into a mediocre defense. He has no idea what he's doing. He's proven year in and year out that he's not a good defensive coordinator. Fletcher also accused Haslett of potentially, quote, backstabbing Jay Gruden, and saying, quote, Jay Gruden better get him out the door because he's probably backstabbing Jay Gruden like he did everybody else. That's what London Fletcher had to say. But there's some good news, Washington Redskins fans, as now you have, a good draft pick potentially about to, happen. And you've got some good, Washington is lining up good interviews for you guys. According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, Washington is lining up interviews with 49ers defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, 49ers defensive back coach Ed Dontel, and Chargers linebackers coach Joe Barry. So you got two 49ers and the Chargers, interviewees, I guess you could say. And for Redskins, if you could score the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, if you can get him to the Redskins and you could just fix some offensive problem, I'm saying you draft a wide receiver, probably Amari Cooper if he's still available at that time. Stay away from quarterback, Redskins. Just keep RG3 and just tell him, hey, you're the starter. Work at it. Work at it all off season. We're labeling you starter already. Come training camp, if you don't look what we project you to look, then out the door. I don't know. Do something. I think RG3 did pretty good this year. Just needs some help. Maybe draft some offensive linemen. And get a running back later in the draft as well. But Redskins, if you can get Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator from the 49ers to your team,